First contact. The vast expanse of space stretched endlessly before the TSS horizon, its sleek hull gleaming under the light of distant stars. On the bridge, Captain Elara Chen stood with her hands clasped behind her back, dark eyes fixed on the main view screen. The ship had been skirting the edges of known space for months, pushing humanity's boundaries ever further into the cosmic unknown. "Captain," called out Lieutenant Ravi Sharma from his station, his voice tinged with excitement. "I'm picking up an anomalous reading at the edge of our sensor range." Elara turned, one eyebrow raised. "Define anomalous, Lieutenant." Ravi's fingers danced over his console. It's big, Captain. Metallic composition, definitely not natural. And it's not broadcasting any known identification signals." A hush fell over the bridge as the implications sank in. After centuries of searching, had humanity finally stumbled upon proof of extraterrestrial intelligence? "Helm, set an intercept course," Elara ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through her veins. "All hands, yellow alert. Let's approach with caution." As the horizon closed in on the mysterious object, its true nature became clear. It was a ship, but like nothing humanity had ever constructed. Its hull was a dark, iridescent material that seemed to drink in the light of nearby stars. Graceful spires and sweeping arches gave it an almost organic appearance, as if it had been grown rather than built. "It's beautiful," whispered Ensign Zoe Harper from the helm. Elara nodded in agreement, and apparently dead in space. No signs of power or life support. She tapped her comm badge. "Chen to engineering. Dr. Reyes, I want you to start analyzing every scrap of data we can get on this ship. If we're going to board her, I want to know what we're walking into." "Aye, Captain," came the reply, the engineer's voice thick with his Argentine accent. "I'll have preliminary findings for you within the hour." As promised, Dr. Reyes delivered his report, and Elara found herself leading an away team onto the alien vessel. Clad in sleek environmental suits, she was accompanied by Ravi, Dr. Reyes, and Chief of Security, Commander Axel Donovan. They materialized in what appeared to be a vast, cathedral-like chamber. Shafts of light from their helmet-mounted lamps cut through the darkness, revealing intricate patterns etched into the walls and floor. "Incredible," breathed Dr. Reyes, running a scanner over the nearest wall. "The material composition, it's unlike anything in our database. And these patterns, they're not just decorative. I'm detecting faint energy signatures." Elara was about to respond when a flicker of movement caught her eye. She spun, hand instinctively reaching for her phaser, but found only shadows. "Did anyone else see that?" she asked, tension evident in her voice. Axel nodded, his massive frame tense and ready for action. "Affirmative, Captain. Something's in here with us." As if on cue, a soft, melodic hum filled the air. The patterns on the walls began to glow with a soft, blue-green light, and then, stepping out of the shadows, they appeared. They were tall, easily 7 feet in height, with slender, graceful bodies. Their skin shimmered with an iridescence similar to their ship's hull, and large, almond-shaped eyes regarded the humans with a mixture of curiosity and wariness. Elara stepped forward, hands raised in a gesture of peace. "I am Captain Elara Chen of the Terra spaceship Horizon. We come in peace and friendship." For a long moment, there was silence. Then, one of the aliens stepped forward. When it spoke, the words seemed to form directly in Elara's mind, bypassing her ears entirely. "I am Zironae, last queen of the Zironae, and you, Elara Chen, have stumbled into a war that has raged for millennia." The revelation hit Elara like a physical blow. Not only had they made first contact, but they'd landed squarely in the middle of an interstellar conflict. As she looked into Zironae's otherworldly eyes, she knew that the fate of humanity had just become inexorably linked with that of the Zironae. Over the next few hours, Zironae shared the tragic history of her people. The Zironae had once been a peaceful, exploratory species much like humanity. But centuries ago, a splinter faction known as the Imperium had seized power, twisting Zironae technology and culture towards conquest and domination. Ziroae and her followers were all that remained of the old ways, fleeing across the galaxy in search of allies and a new home. Their ship, the Celestial Tear, had been damaged in a recent battle, leaving them adrift and vulnerable. As Ilara listened, she felt a growing sense of kinship with these alien refugees. The ideals they fought for, peace, freedom, exploration, were the very principles that had driven humanity to the stars. "Your Majesty," Ilara said, the formal title feeling strange on her tongue. "I can't speak for all of humanity, but I can promise you this, that Horizon and her crew stand ready to help in any way we can." Ziroae's gratitude washed over Ilara in a wave of emotion, but before the alien queen could respond, alarms blared throughout both ships. Ravi's voice crackled over the comm. "Captain, we've got multiple ships dropping out of FTL. They match the design of the Celestial Tear, but they're weaponized, and they're on an attack vector." Ilara's mind raced. They were outgunned in unfamiliar territory, with a damaged alien ship to protect. But as she looked around at her crew and their new alien allies, she felt a surge of determination. "All right, people," she said, her voice ringing with authority. "Let's show these Imperium bastards what happens when you pick a fight with humanity. To your stations." As the crew of the Horizon rushed to battle stations and the Zironae refugees prepared their crippled vessel, Ilara couldn't help but feel a mix of terror and exhilaration. Humanity's first interstellar war was about to begin, and the fate of two species hung in the balance. Little did they know, this was just the beginning of an adventure that would challenge their courage, test their ingenuity, and ultimately reshape the very fabric of the galaxy. The Celestial Labyrinth. The void of space erupted into a dazzling display of weapons fire as the Horizon maneuvered to protect the crippled Celestial Tear. Ilara's hands flew over her command console, coordinating the defense with a mixture of human and Zironae technology. "Ravi, status on those shield modifications?" Ilara called out, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. "Online, Captain," Ravi replied, a hint of pride in his voice. "Dr. Reyes' team integrated the Zironae energy matrix into our systems. We're showing a 30% increase in shield strength." A savage grin spread across Ilara's face. "Let's put it to the test. Helm, attack pattern Chen Alpha. Weapons, target the lead Imperium ship's propulsion systems." The Horizon dove and weaved through the storm of enemy fire, its human-piloted agility catching the Imperium forces off guard. Beams of coherent light lanced out from the Horizon's weapons arrays, slicing through the lead attacker's engines with surgical precision. As the battle raged, Ziroae's voice echoed in Ilara's mind. "Captain, we've restored minimal power to the Celestial Tear. We can open a portal to the Astral Nebula. It's our only chance of escape." Ilara nodded, quickly assessing their options. The nebula was uncharted territory, but staying here meant certain destruction. "Do it," she commanded. "Helm, prepare to follow the Celestial Tear. All hands, brace for turbulence." Space itself seemed to tear open before them, revealing a swirling vortex of cosmic energies. The Celestial Tear glided into the rift, followed closely by the Horizon. As they entered, Ilara felt a moment of vertigo, as if the very fabric of reality was shifting around them. When they emerged on the other side, the pursuing Imperium ships were gone. In their place was a breathtaking vista of swirling gases and newborn stars. The Astral Nebula lived up to its name, a celestial labyrinth of cosmic beauty and hidden dangers. "All stop," Ilara ordered, taking in the awe-inspiring view. Damage report. As her crew rattled off statistics, Ilara's mind was already racing ahead. They had escaped immediate danger, but they were now deep in uncharted space, with a damaged alien ship and a host of unanswered questions. Over the next few days, as both ships underwent repairs, Ilara and Ziroae spent long hours in discussion. The alien queen shared more of her people's history, and Ilara found herself increasingly drawn into the complex web of Zironae politics and technology. Our civilization spans thousands of years, Xyleth explained, her mental voice tinged with both pride and sorrow. We have achieved wonders your people can scarcely imagine, but with great power came great temptation. She went on to describe how the Imperium had risen, twisting Zironae biotechnology to create weapons of unimaginable destruction. What had once been a society dedicated to exploration and enlightenment had become an empire built on conquest and subjugation. As Ilara listened, she couldn't help but draw parallels to humanity's own history. We faced similar challenges, she admitted. We nearly destroyed ourselves more than once, but we learned, we grew. We found a better way. Xyleth's large, expressive eyes regarded Ilara with newfound respect. Perhaps that is why the universe brought us together, Captain. Your people's resilience, combined with our technology, it could change everything. Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent comm from Ravi. Captain, we're detecting a massive energy signature deeper in the nebula. It looks like some kind of structure. Intrigued, Ilara ordered the Horizon to investigate, with the celestial tear following close behind. As they approached the source of the energy readings, a colossal structure emerged from the swirling gases of the nebula. It was a space station of sorts, but like nothing humanity had ever encountered. Its architecture was reminiscent of the celestial tear, all sweeping curves and organic forms. But where the tear was sleek and graceful, this structure was vast and imposing. By the cosmic mothers, Xyleth breathed, her mental voice filled with awe. It's an ancient forge world. I thought they were nothing but legends. Ilara turned to her alien ally, curiosity burning in her eyes. Forge world. Xyleth nodded, her iridescent skin shimmering with excitement. Places of creation, where the greatest wonders of our civilization were born. If we can reactivate its systems, we might just have a chance against the Imperium, Ilara finished, understanding dawning. As they prepared to board the ancient station, Ilara couldn't shake a feeling of trepidation. They were about to step into a piece of living Zironae history, one that could tip the balance of power in this interstellar conflict, but at what cost? The away team materialized in a vast, dimly lit chamber. As their helmet lights swept the area, they revealed row upon row of dormant machinery covered in a fine layer of cosmic dust. Dr. Reyes let out a low whistle. Incredible. The technology here, it's centuries beyond anything we've ever seen, maybe millennia. Xyleth moved with purpose, her slender fingers dancing over control panels that lit up at her touch. Much of this is familiar, but she trailed off, her mental voice tinged with confusion. Some of this technology, I don't recognize. It's as if. She was cut off by a sudden tremor that shook the entire station. Lights flickered to life throughout the chamber, and the air filled with the hum of awakening machinery. What did you do? Ilara asked, a hint of accusation in her voice. Xyleth shook her head, her large eyes wide with surprise. Nothing. It's activating on its own. It's almost as if it was waiting for us, Axel finished, his hand hovering near his weapon. Before anyone could respond, a holographic image flickered to life in the center of the chamber. It depicted a Zironae, but one unlike any they had seen before. Its form was more solid, less ethereal than Xyleth and her people. When it spoke, its voice resonated through the chamber, a mixture of audible sound and mental projection. Greetings, children of the stars. If you are witnessing this message, then the Forge of Titans has awakened from its long slumber. I am Zironae, architect of worlds, and I bring you both a warning and a gift. The hologram gestured, and the chamber transformed around them. They found themselves surrounded by images of epic battles, of worlds burning and civilizations falling. The warning is this: the galaxy stands on the brink of a darkness that threatens to consume all. The Imperium is but a symptom of a greater malady, one that has festered in the heart of our people for too long. Xyleth gasped, her mental voice a whisper of shock and revelation. The corruption, it's real. All this time, we thought it was just a myth. The hologram of Zironae continued, oblivious to their reactions. But where there is darkness, there must also be light. The gift I offer you is the power to forge a new future. The Forge of Titans contains the sum total of our people's knowledge and the means to create wonders beyond imagination. The chamber shifted again, revealing schematics for technologies that made even Dr. Reyes' jaw drop in astonishment. But be warned, Zironae cautioned, his voice growing solemn. Power without wisdom leads only to destruction. The future of not just the Zironae, but all sentient life in the galaxy, now rests in your hands. With those final words, the hologram faded, leaving the away team in stunned silence. Ilaro was the first to find her voice. Well, she said, a wry smile tugging at her lips, I think we can safely say this mission has officially gone beyond our original parameters. As the implications of what they had discovered began to sink in, Ilara felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. They had stumbled upon a power that could reshape the galaxy, for better or worse. The choices they made here, in this ancient forged world, would echo across the cosmos for generations to come. But as she looked at her crew, human and Zironae alike, she felt a surge of hope. Together, they had already accomplished the impossible. First contact, interspecies cooperation, battles against overwhelming odds. They had faced it all and emerged stronger. All right, people, Ilara said, her voice ringing with determination. Let's get to work. Weave the Forge of Titans. As the days stretched into weeks, the Forge of Titans became a hive of activity. Human and Zironae worked side by side, deciphering ancient technologies and unlocking the secrets of creation that had lain dormant for millennia. Captain Ilara Chen stood at the heart of it all, coordinating efforts and making decisions that would shape the course of two civilizations. The weight of responsibility was immense, but she found strength in the unity of her diverse crew. Dr. Reyes, status report, Ilara called out, striding into the main research lab. The engineer looked up from a holographic display, dark circles under his eyes betraying long hours of work. Captain, it's beyond anything we could have imagined. The Forge isn't just a factory or a research facility, it's a nexus of creation itself. He gestured to the display, which showed a dizzying array of schematics and formulae. We've unlocked designs for ships that can fold space-time, weapons that can neutralize entire fleets without destruction, and defenses that can withstand the fury of a dying star. Ilara nodded, her mind racing with the implications. And the corruption. Have we made any progress on understanding it? Dr. Reyes' expression darkened. Yes, but I almost wish we hadn't. The corruption isn't just a political movement or ideology. It's almost like a disease. The cancer of the mind and soul that twists everything it touches. Before Ilara could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. She tapped her comm badge. Chen to bridge, report. Ravi's voice came through, tight with tension. Captain, we've got multiple Empyrean ships dropping out of FTL. They found us. Ilara's mind raced. They weren't ready for this. The new technologies were still largely theoretical, untested, but they were out of options. Battle stations, she ordered. Ravi, implement Defense Plan Zeta. Dr. Reyes, we need something from the Forge, anything that can give us an edge. As she raced to the command center, Ilara felt a familiar presence in her mind. Xyle's mental voice was calm, but underlined with steel. My people are ready, Captain. We will stand with you. The space around the Forge of Titans erupted into chaos as the Imperium fleet opened fire. But the combined forces of the Horizon and the Zironae refugees held their ground, their recently upgraded shields flickering under the onslaught but holding. Return fire, Ilara commanded. Focus on their lead ship. Let's show them what happens when you mess with the combined might of humanity and the free Zironae. The battle raged, a symphony of destruction against the backdrop of the nebula's swirling gases. The horizon danced through enemy fire, its human crew's unpredictable tactics keeping the Imperium off balance. But it wasn't enough. For every Imperium ship they disabled, 2 more seemed to take its place. Ilara gritted her teeth, watching as their shields slowly but steadily weakened under the relentless assault. "Dr. Reyes," she called out, "please tell me you have something." As if in answer, a new schematic flashed up on the main view screen. It showed a device unlike anything Ilara had ever seen, a swirling vortex of energy contained within an intricate lattice of exotic materials. "It's a gravity lens," Dr. Reyes explained, his voice filled with equal parts excitement and trepidation. "In theory, it can bend space-time itself, creating a localized bubble of altered physics." Ilara's eyes widened as she grasped the implications. "Can you build it?" "Already done," came the reply. "The Forge fabricated it as soon as we unlocked the design. But Captain, we've never tested it. The consequences of activation could be unpredictable." For a moment, Ilara hesitated. The device could be their salvation or their doom. But as another blast rocked the station, she made her decision. "Do it," she ordered. "Activate the gravity lens." What happened next would be seared into the memories of all who witnessed it for the rest of their lives. A pulse of energy erupted from the Forge of Titans, expanding outward in a shimmering wave. As it washed over the Imperium fleet, the fabric of space itself seemed to ripple and distort. Ships twisted and stretched, their forms elongating like reflections in a funhouse mirror. Some simply vanished, blinked out of existence as if they had never been. Others found themselves suddenly thousands of kilometers from their original positions, their carefully coordinated attack formation shattered. In the span of heartbeats, the tide of battle had turned. The remaining Imperium ships, disoriented and separated, fell easy prey to the combined firepower of the Horizon and the Zironae. As the last enemy vessel flickered and died, a cheer went up throughout the station. They had done it. Against all odds, they had prevailed. But Ilara couldn't shake a feeling of unease. The power they had unleashed was beyond anything humanity had ever wielded, and with great power came great responsibility and great danger. In the aftermath of the battle, as repairs were made and the implications of their victory were discussed, Ilara found herself in a quiet corner of the forge, gazing out at the nebula. "Heavy thoughts, Captain," came Xyleth's mental voice, tinged with concern. Ilara turned to find the Zironae queen floating gracefully beside her. "Just processing," she admitted. "We won the battle, but the war is far from over. And the power we now possess, it's terrifying." Xyleth's large eyes regarded her with understanding. "Power has always been a double-edged sword, Ilara. It can create or destroy, heal or harm. The question is not whether we should wield it, but how we choose to do so." Ilara nodded slowly. "You're right, of course. But how can we be sure we're making the right choices? The fate of entire civilizations could hang in the balance." A warm feeling of reassurance washed over Ilara, emanating from the alien queen. By remembering who we are and what we stand for, by holding true to the ideals that brought us to the stars in the first place, and by standing together, human and Zironae, as guardians of a brighter future. As Ilara looked out at the swirling nebula, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had been given a great gift and a great responsibility. Now it was up to them to use it wisely, to forge a path through the stars that would lead to peace and understanding for all sentient beings. Little did they know, their greatest challenges and their greatest triumphs still lay ahead. The Forge of Titans had awoken, and with it, the destiny of 2 species had been irrevocably intertwined. As Ilara turned away from the viewport, ready to face whatever the future might hold, she couldn't help but smile. Whatever came next, they would face it together. Human and Zironae, united in purpose and spirit, ready to reshape the very fabric of the galaxy. The adventure was far from over. In fact, it had only just begun. Echoes of Earth. The Forge of Titans hummed with activity, its ancient halls now a fusion of Zironae biotechnology and human ingenuity. Captain Elara Chen stood before a holographic star map, her brow furrowed in concentration. Beside her, Xyle's ethereal form shimmered, her thoughts a comforting presence in Elara's mind. "There," Elara said, pointing to a cluster of stars near the galactic core. "That's where the signal's coming from." Dr. Reyes leaned in, his eyes widening. "Impossible. That region's been uninhabitable for millennia. The radiation levels alone." "And yet," Xyle's mental voice interjected, "the signal persists. A repeating pattern, unlike anything in our databases." Elara nodded, a spark of excitement in her eyes. "It's time we solve this mystery. Prep the horizon for quantum jump. We're going in." The next few hours were a flurry of activity as the crew prepared for their most daring mission yet. The horizon, now augmented with forge technology, was capable of manipulating the quantum foam of spacetime itself. They would need every advantage to survive what lay ahead. As they prepared to depart, Ravi approached Elara, his usual confidence tempered by concern. "Captain, I've been analyzing that signal. There's something familiar about it. I can't quite put my finger on it, but—" Elara placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Trust your instincts, Ravi. They haven't led us wrong yet." With a final check of systems, the horizon disengaged from the forge. The fabric of reality rippled around them as they engaged the quantum drive. For a moment, the universe seemed to hold its breath. Then, with a soundless flash, they vanished. They rematerialized in a sea of chaos. The space around them roiled with stellar debris and ribbons of deadly radiation. At the heart of it all, a massive black hole devoured everything in its path, its accretion disk a blazing ring of fire. "By the cosmic mothers," Xyleth breathed, her mental voice filled with awe. But it wasn't the black hole that captured their attention. Orbiting the monstrous singularity was a planet. Impossible as it seemed, the world appeared to be shielded from the deadly forces surrounding it. And it was from this world that the mysterious signal emanated. "Life signs?" Elara asked, her voice tense. Ravi's fingers danced over his console. "Affirmative, Captain, and they're human." A stunned silence fell over the bridge. Humans, here at the heart of the galaxy, it seemed impossible. As they approached the shielded world, the signal resolved into a clear message. A message that made Elara's heart skip a beat. To all ships of Earth, a voice crackled through the comm system. "Welcome home." The planet's shield shimmered, creating an opening just large enough for the horizon to pass through. As they descended into the atmosphere, a breathtaking vista unfolded before them. Gleaming cities rose from lush forests, their architecture a mind-bending fusion of natural forms and advanced technology. Flying vehicles zipped between towering spires, while in the distance, massive terraforming engines reshaped the landscape. They were directed to a landing pad atop the largest structure, a spiraling tower that seemed to pierce the very sky. As the away team disembarked, they were greeted by a delegation of humans. But these were humans unlike any Elara had ever seen. Their bodies shimmered with bioluminescent patterns, and their eyes held a depth of wisdom that spoke of centuries of life. At their head stood a woman who radiated an aura of authority and ancient knowledge. "Welcome, travelers," she said, her voice rich and melodious. "I am Aria, keeper of memories. We've been expecting you." Elara stepped forward, striving to find her voice. "I'm Captain Elara Chen of the TSS Horizon. How is this possible? Who are you?" Aria smiled, a sight both beautiful and slightly unnerving. "We are the descendants of Earth's first great diaspora. Our ancestors fled a dying world, seeking a new home among the stars. They found this place, hidden and protected by forces beyond their comprehension." She gestured to the magnificent city around them. "Over millennia, we evolved, adapted. We learned to harness the power of the singularity, to bend space and time to our will. We became more than human, Yet we never forgot our roots. Zironae floated forward, her alien presence drawing curious looks from Aria's people. But why reveal yourselves now? Why call us here? Aria's expression turned grave. Because the galaxy stands on the brink of chaos. The Imperium is but one symptom of a greater malady. The corruption you've encountered. It's spreading, consuming entire civilizations. And now, it threatens to unravel the very fabric of space-time. She turned, gesturing for them to follow. Come. There's much to discuss and time grows short. The fate of not just humanity, but all sentient life, hangs in the balance. As they followed Aria into the heart of the city, Ilara's mind raced. They had come seeking answers, but instead had found an entire civilization lost to time. A missing branch of humanity that had evolved into something more. What knowledge did these advanced humans possess? What role would they play in the coming conflict? And how would their presence shift the balance of power in a galaxy already on the brink of war? One thing was certain, their mission had just become far more complex than they could have ever imagined. The echoes of Earth, it seemed, would resonate across the cosmos, shaping the destiny of countless worlds. As they delved deeper into the hidden human enclave, Ilara couldn't shake the feeling that they stood at the precipice of something monumental. A convergence of past and future, of human and alien, that would redefine the very nature of existence. The next phase of their journey was about to begin, and the stakes had never been higher. Starfall convergence. The heart of New Terra pulsed with an otherworldly energy as Captain Ilara Chen and her diverse crew stood before the cosmic nexus, a swirling vortex of quantum information that seemed to bridge dimensions. Aria, the keeper of memories, placed her hand on a shimmering control panel, causing holographic displays to spring to life around them. Behold, Aria said, her voice resonating with power, the tapestry of realities. Before them unfolded a mesmerizing display of intertwining timelines and parallel universes. Ilara gasped as she saw countless versions of Earth, some thriving, others dying, all connected by gossamer threads of quantum entanglement. The corruption, Zironae's mental voice whispered, it's not just a disease or an ideology. It's a multiversal parasite, Aria finished grimly. A cosmic cancer that devours entire realities, and it's spreading faster than we can contain it. Dr. Reyes stepped forward, his scientific curiosity overriding his awe. But how do we fight something that exists across dimensions? Aria's eyes gleamed with a mixture of hope and trepidation. With this, she gestured, and a new hologram appeared, a device of mind-bending complexity. The Harmony Resonator, a weapon capable of manipulating the very strings of the multiverse. Let me guess, Ilara said dryly, it's never been tested. Aria nodded solemnly. The risks are substantial, but it's our only hope of stopping the corruption before it consumes everything. As the implications sank in, alarms blared throughout the city. Ravi's voice crackled over the comm. Captain, massive Imperium fleet incoming. They've somehow pierced the Singularity's defenses. Ilara's mind raced. They were out of time. Aria, how long to get that resonator operational? Hours at least, Aria replied, her composure slipping for the first time. We need to buy time. A plan formed in Ilara's mind, audacious and potentially suicidal. Zironae, can the Celestial Tear's portal technology be modified to work on a larger scale? The alien queen's mental voice thrummed with excitement as she grasped Ilara's intent. Yes, but the power requirements would be enormous. The Singularity, Dr. Reyes interjected, catching on. If we could harness its energy. Ilara nodded, her decision made. All right, people, let's make the impossible possible. Aria, we'll need every ship you can muster. We're going to take the fight to them, across dimensions. What followed was a frenzy of activity as human, Zironae, and the evolved Terrans worked in perfect synchronicity. The horizon, augmented with technology from both the Forge of Titans and New Terra, became the linchpin of their desperate gambit. As the Imperium fleet breached the final defenses, Ilara stood on the bridge of the horizon, a sense of calm settling over her despite the chaos. "All ships, execute Starfall protocol on my mark." The fabric of reality itself seemed to groan as the combined fleet engaged their drives. Powered by the Singularity's awesome energies, they tore open a rift not just in space, but in the multiverse itself. The battle that ensued defied description. Ships phased in and out of existence, weapons fire warped spacetime, and entire squadrons found themselves suddenly facing alternate versions of themselves. The Imperium's numerical advantage was nullified as the Allied fleet attacked from angles that shouldn't have been possible in three-dimensional space. Through it all, Ilara and her crew fought with a synchronicity born of trust and shared purpose. Human ingenuity, Zironae biotechnology, and the evolved Terran's mastery of quantum mechanics combined into a force that the Imperium had never anticipated. But even as they gained the upper hand, Ilara knew it wasn't enough. The corruption was still spreading, infecting ship after ship, reality after reality. They needed the resonator. "Aria," Ilara shouted over the comm. "Status on the Harmony resonator." "It's ready," came the reply, "but there's a problem. The activation sequence requires a mind capable of perceiving and processing multiversal information. No single being can withstand it." Ilara exchanged a look with Zironae, an unspoken understanding passing between them. "Not alone," Ilara said, "but together." In a maneuver that would be talked about for eons to come, the Horizon disengaged from the main battle, plunging towards New Terra. As they approached the cosmic nexus, Ilara turned to her crew. "It's been an honor," she said simply. Moments later, Ilara and Zironae stood before the Harmony resonator. As one, they reached out, their minds merging not just with each other, but with the very fabric of the multiverse. The pain was indescribable as information from countless realities flooded their joined consciousness. But through it all, they held on to who they were, to the friendship and trust they had forged across the stars. With a final Herculean effort, they activated the resonator. A pulse of pure harmony radiated outward, traversing dimensions, realigning the very strings of creation. Where it touched the corruption, the cosmic parasite recoiled, its hold on reality weakening. Across the battlefield, Imperium ships suddenly found themselves piloted by versions of their crews who had never succumbed to the corruption. The tide turned in an instant as former enemies became allies in the fight against a common, multiversal foe. As the pulse reached the farthest corners of the multiverse, Ilara and Zironae collapsed, their minds overwhelmed, but their spirits unbroken. They had done it. The corruption was not destroyed, but its power had been broken, and the multiverse granted a chance to heal. In the aftermath, as the Allied fleet began the monumental task of rebuilding and reconciliation, Ilara stood on the observation deck of the Horizon. Beside her, Zironae's ethereal form shimmered, their bond now deeper than ever before. "What now?" Ilara asked, gazing out at the star-studded void. Zironae's mental voice was warm with affection and excitement. "Now, my dear friend, we explore. There are more wonders in the multiverse than either of our peoples ever dreamed, and together we'll discover them all." As the Horizon prepared to depart, its crew a living embodiment of interspecies cooperation, Ilara couldn't help but smile. They had faced the impossible and emerged victorious. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew they would face them the same way they had faced the corruption, together as one unified force, human and alien alike. The stars beckoned, and a new age of multiversal exploration and cooperation dawned. The adventure, it seemed, was only just beginning. The quantum frontier. A decade had passed since the events of Starfall convergence. The Horizon, now legendary across multiple realities, glided through the shimmering expanse of the quantum sea, a newly discovered realm between dimensions. Captain Ilara Chen, her features now bearing the subtle glow of prolonged exposure to multiversal energies, stood on the bridge. Beside her, Zironae's form had evolved, becoming a swirling vortex of bioluminescent patterns that constantly shifted between states of matter. Quantum fluctuation detected, Ravi called out, his cybernetically enhanced eyes scanning holographic readouts. "It's big, Captain." Ilara nodded, a familiar thrill of excitement coursing through her. "All hands, prepare for transdimensional shift. Let's see what's on the other side." The horizon's harmonic drive engaged, its energy tendrils reaching out to caress the fabric of reality. With a flash of prismatic light, they pierced the veil between worlds. They emerged into a scene of breathtaking beauty and mind-bending impossibility. Before them stretched a vast Dyson sphere, but unlike any they had encountered before, this one encapsulated not a star, but an entire galaxy. By the cosmic architects, Dr. Reyes breathed, his partly mechanical body humming with excitement. The energy requirements for such a structure, it's beyond comprehension. Before they could fully process the sight, a transmission crackled through their comms. The language was unlike anything they had ever encountered, yet thanks to their evolved consciousness, they understood its meaning perfectly. "Greetings, voyagers of the quantum frontier. You have reached the hub of infinite worlds. We've been expecting you." A tractor beam of pure thought gently guided the horizon towards an opening in the galactic Dyson sphere. As they passed through, reality itself seemed to ripple and reform around them. They found themselves in a vast chamber that seemed to exist in multiple phases of space-time simultaneously. Beings of energy, matter, and states beyond human comprehension moved about in perfect harmony. A figure approached, or perhaps it had always been there, and they had only now perceived it. It spoke, its words bypassing their ears and forming directly in their minds. "We are the keepers of convergence, guardians of the multiversal tapestry. Your actions during the Starfall event have set in motion changes that echo across all realities. The time has come for your next great journey." The being gestured, and a holographic display sprang to life, showing a map of the multiverse far more complex than anything they had seen before. At its center pulsed a blinding light. "The nexus of all realities," the Keeper explained. "A point where all universes intersect. It holds the key to reshaping the very laws of existence. But it is under threat." Images flashed before them, shadowy entities that defied description, devouring entire universes. The remnants of the corruption evolved into something even more terrifying. "The Void Hunters," Zironae whispered, her mental voice tinged with awe and fear. The Keeper nodded solemnly. "They seek to unravel creation itself. Only a unified force, drawing upon the strengths of all sentient species across all realities, stands a chance of stopping them." Ilara felt the weight of this new responsibility settling on her shoulders. Yet, as she looked at her crew, human, Zironae, and the many other species they had befriended on their journeys, she felt a surge of determination. "We've faced impossible odds before," she said, her voice ringing with conviction. "We'll do it again." The Keeper's form shimmered with what might have been approval. "Then prepare yourselves, guardians of the quantum frontier. The fate of all existence now rests in your hands." As they returned to the horizon, the crew buzzed with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. They were about to embark on their greatest adventure yet, a journey to the very heart of the multiverse. Ilara took her place in the captain's chair, feeling the familiar hum of the ship beneath her. "All hands," she called out, a smile playing on her lips, "set course for the impossible. We've got some universes to save." With a flash of quantum energy, the horizon vanished, ready to write the next chapter in its legendary story. The quantum frontier awaited, filled with wonders and terrors beyond imagination. But whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, as they always had. The adventure, it seemed, was truly infinite.